Last week, a 23-year-old kid lost $47,000 following advice from someone on TikTok. The financial expert had 3 million followers, verified account, luxury car in every video, Rolex on his wrist. He promised, "I'll teach you how I make $10,000 a day from home." Turns out, the only money he was making, selling courses to people like that 23-year-old kid. Welcome to the market square of 2026, where the loudest voices aren't always the wisest, where magic spells sound a lot like financial advice, and where knowing the difference between an alchemist and a con artist might save you everything you own. I'm going to show you 3 things happening right now in the world of money. 3 trends that sound crazy but are completely changing how people earn, spend, and invest. And I'm going to teach you how to tell the real wizards from the thieves in fine silks. Because in the market square, the difference is everything. Let me paint you a picture. You're walking through the market square. You see a crowd gathered around a man in expensive robes. He's standing on a wooden platform, gold chains around his neck, rings on every finger. And he's shouting, "I can turn your copper into gold. I've discovered the secret. For just 10 silver coins, I'll teach you the ancient formula that made me rich beyond measure." What do? If you're smart, you would walk away, because you know that if he really could turn copper into gold, he wouldn't be in the market square just selling the secret. He'd be in a castle somewhere turning copper into gold. That's a medieval con. Simple, obvious. So why are millions of people in 2026 falling for the exact same scam? They're called finfluencers, financial influencers, people on social media who claim they can teach you to get rich. And right now, 35% of retail investors, that's more than 1 in 3 people who invest money, are making financial decisions based on what these people tell them. Here's what that looks like in real life. A 19-year-old sees a video, 22 seconds long, a guy in a Lamborghini. He says, "I made $18,000 last week trading crypto. Click the link in my bio and I'll show you how." The 19-year-old clicks, gets taken to a website, pays $297 for a course. The course is garbage, generic advice you could find free on YouTube. But worse, it encourages risky trades that benefit the influencer because he gets kickbacks from the trading platform. The kid loses money, the influencer makes money. Tale as old as time. Research shows that finfluencers are 12 times more likely to lead their followers into scams than legitimate financial advisors. 12 times! Why? Because they have zero accountability. A licensed financial advisor can lose their license for bad advice. They have regulations, oversight, consequences. A finfluencer? If their advice destroys your life savings, they just delete the video and post a new one about learning from mistakes and staying positive. I want to tell you about Emma. Real person, fake name. Emma's 26. She's been working since she was 16, saved up $12,000. Not rich, but she's proud of it. She wants to invest it, make it grow. She follows a finfluencer who posts about passive income and financial freedom. He's got 2 million followers, posts pictures from Dubai, says he retired at 28. He promotes a specific investment platform, says he's made 6 figures using it, shows screenshots of his earnings. Emma signs up, puts in her $12,000. The platform promises 20% returns. Within 3 months, the platform disappears. Website gone, money gone. The influencer deletes all his posts about it and claims he was hacked. Emma lost everything. And here's the worst part. She's not alone. There are hundreds of thousands of Emmas, maybe millions, because the market square is crowded with alchemists, and most of them are selling dreams made of smoke. So how do you spot them? How do you tell a real expert from a con artist in expensive clothes? 3 questions. Ask yourself these 3 questions before you follow any financial advice online. Question 1. Are they registered? In medieval times, legitimate merchants had to register with a guild. Today, real financial advisors have to register with regulatory bodies. In the US, that's FINRA or the SEC. In the UK, it's the FCA. If someone's giving you financial advice for money, they should be registered. You can look them up. It takes 30 seconds. If they're not registered, they're either incompetent or deliberately avoiding oversight. Either way, run. Question 2. How do they make money? This is the big one, the question that reveals everything. A legitimate financial advisor makes money by managing your investments and charging you a fee for that service. Their incentive is aligned with yours. If your money grows, they make more money. A Finfluencer makes money by selling you courses, getting kickbacks from platforms they promote, affiliate links, sponsorships from companies that benefit when you make risky decisions. Their incentive is not aligned with yours. They make money whether you succeed or fail. In fact, they often make more money when you fail and come back for more advice. Question 3. Are they selling you a dream or teaching you a skill? Real financial education is boring. It's about compound interest, diversification, risk management, long-term thinking. Scam financial education is exciting. It's about life-changing wealth, secret strategies, getting rich quick, financial freedom in 6 months. If someone's selling you a dream of getting rich without effort, without risk, without years of patience, they're selling you fantasy. And fantasy costs real money. Look, I get it. The appeal is obvious. You're working a job you don't love for money that doesn't feel like enough. You're watching rent go up, groceries get more expensive, homeownership feel more impossible. And then someone appears on your phone, same age as you, telling you they escaped, that they're financially free, that you can be too. It's seductive, it's hopeful, it's exactly what you want to hear. But hope is expensive when it's being sold by someone who profits from your desperation. So here's my decree for the market square. If someone's selling you the secret to getting rich and that secret costs money, they're not teaching you how they got rich. They're showing you how they're getting rich right now. Off you. The real alchemists don't charge admission to watch them work. They just work. And if you pay attention, you learn. Now let me show you something that sounds absolutely insane. Right now, in 2026, with Apple Pay and contactless cards and Venmo and cryptocurrency and 100 ways to spend money without ever touching it, people are going back to cash, physical paper cash, in envelopes, in binders, in actual leather pouches. It's called cash stuffing, and it's one of the fastest growing financial trends of the year. I know what you're thinking. That's backwards. That's inefficient. That's ignoring all the convenience of modern technology. And you're right. It is all those things. But it works. Let me tell you about Rachel. She's 32, makes about $45,000 a year, works in marketing. And 2 years ago, she was £26,000 in debt. Credit cards, student loans, car payment, personal loans she took out to consolidate other debts, the usual modern nightmare. She'd been trying to pay it off for years. Budgeting apps, spreadsheets, direct debits, all the smart digital solutions. And it wasn't working, because here's the thing about digital money. It doesn't feel real. When you tap your phone to buy a coffee, you're not experiencing loss. You're experiencing nothing. A little vibration, a digital check mark, numbers on a screen getting slightly smaller. Your brain doesn't register it as spending money. It registers it as permission granted. And when money doesn't feel real, spending it doesn't hurt. Think about the last time you bought something with cash. You had to open your wallet, take out bills, hand them to someone, watch them walk away with your money. There's a physical sensation of loss, a moment where your brain goes, wait, do I really want this thing more than I want these pounds in my hand? Now think about the last time you tapped your phone to pay for something. Yeah, there was no moment. You just did it. So Rachel tried something radical. She withdrew her entire paycheck in cash, £4,500. Then she divided it into envelopes. Rent, £1,200, groceries, £400, transportation, £200, debt payment, £2,000, and everything else, £700. And she made a rule. When an envelope is empty, you stop spending in that category until next month. First month, though, she was shocked. She ran out of everything else money by the 20th of the month. She realized she'd been spending £700 a month on stuff she couldn't even remember. Coffee, lunch out, random Amazon purchases, a new top she wore once. None of it mattered, but she'd never noticed because it was all just little taps on her phone. Second month, she got more careful. Made coffee at home, packed lunch, said no to impulse purchases. By month 6, she'd paid off £4,000 of debt. By month 12, she'd paid off £11,000. By month 24, all £26,000 gone. She's debt-free at 32 because she went backwards, because she rejected progress and returned to a leather pouch. There's an old medieval principle. A merchant who feels the weight of every coin leaving their hand is less likely to waste gold on frivolous silks. We've made money invisible, frictionless, effortless to spend. And for merchants, calculate what you spend on invisible purchases, coffee, lunch, small stuff. Add it up for a month. Then withdraw that amount in cash at the start of the month. That's your discretionary spending money. When it's gone, it's gone. You'll be amazed how much more careful you become when you're watching physical money leave your hand. Because the wisdom isn't in the technology, the wisdom is in the awareness. And sometimes the old ways knew something we've forgotten. Now let's talk about something that affects every single person watching this, whether you know it or not: interest rates. I know, interest rates are boring. They're abstract. They're something the Federal Reserve or the Bank of England talks about in meetings you don't watch. But here's the truth. Interest rates are the tolls on the roads of commerce, and when the king changes the tolls, everything changes. Imagine you're a merchant who wants to expand your business. You need to buy 3 new wagons to transport grain, but you don't have enough gold, so you borrow it from a moneylender. The moneylender says, "I'll lend you the gold, but when you pay me back, you owe me extra. That extra is the toll for using my gold." If the toll is high, say 15%, you might decide the wagons aren't worth it. The toll is too expensive. But if the king issues a decree, all tolls must be lowered to 5%, suddenly borrowing gold makes sense. You can afford the wagons. You expand your business. That's interest rates. That's what central banks control. And right now, the tolls are coming down. For the last 2 years, interest rates have been high. Why? Because inflation was out of control. Prices were going up too fast. When prices go up too fast, the economy overheats, so central banks raise interest rates to cool things down. Higher rates mean borrowing money is expensive, so people borrow less, spend less. Economy slows, prices stabilize. It worked. Inflation is coming down. So now, central banks are lowering rates again. Not dramatically, not all at once, but the trend is clear. The tolls are being lowered, and that changes everything. Impact 1. Housing. When interest rates are high, mortgages are expensive. A $500,000 house with a 7% mortgage costs you way more than the same house with a 4% mortgage. As rates drop, more people can afford to buy. Demand goes up. Prices might go up too, but accessibility improves. That said, there's still a shortage of 2.5 million homes. Lower rates help, but they don't solve the fundamental problem. We don't have enough houses. Impact 2. Business growth. When borrowing is cheap, companies expand. They hire more people. They build new factories. They invest in technology. That creates jobs. That grows the economy. But it also creates risk, because cheap borrowing can lead to bad borrowing, companies taking on debt for projects that don't make sense. Impact 3. Your savings. Here's the painful part. When interest rates go down, the interest you earn on savings goes down too. If you've got money in a savings account earning 5%, that rate's going to drop, maybe to 4%, maybe to 3%. Your money's still safe, but it's growing slower. So what does this mean for you? What do you actually do with this information? If you're trying to buy a house, pay attention to rate trends. If you've been waiting for rates to drop before buying, we're entering that window. But don't wait too long. Lower rates increase demand, which increases prices. If you're carrying debt, this might be a good time to refinance. If you took out a loan when rates were 7% and they dropped to 5%, refinancing could save you thousands. If you're saving money, don't panic about lower rates on savings accounts. Yes, you'll earn less interest, but stable low rates are better than volatile high rates. Consider diversifying. Some money in savings, safe but low return. Some money invested, higher risk, higher potential return. The thing about the king's tolls is that they're always changing. Rates go up, rates go down, based on what the economy needs. You can't control the tolls, but you can adjust your strategy based on them. When rates are high, focus on paying down debt and saving. When rates are low, consider borrowing for smart investments and growing your income. The merchants who thrive aren't the ones who complain about the tolls. They're the ones who adjust their strategy based on the roads they're traveling. So, let's bring this home. 3 lessons from the market square. The false alchemists. If someone's selling you the secret to getting rich, they're getting rich by selling secrets, not by following them. Check registration, check incentives, check if they're selling dreams or teaching skills. The leather pouch. Digital money doesn't feel real, which makes it dangerously easy to spend. Sometimes the old ways, feeling the weight of money leaving your hand, are wiser than the new ways. The king's tolls. Interest rates affect everything: housing, jobs, savings, debt. You can't control them, but you can adjust your strategy based on them. The market square has always been full of noise, loud voices, big promises, people trying to separate you from your gold. That hasn't changed in 1,000 years. What has changed is the volume, the speed, the sophisticated disguises the thieves wear. So here's my final decree. Your financial future is too important to outsource to someone on TikTok. Learn the basics, understand the principles, ask hard questions. And when someone promises you magic, remember, real wealth is built slowly, carefully, and quietly. The alchemists are lying, but the merchants who mind their pouches and watch the tolls, they're doing just fine. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever followed financial advice from social media? Did it work out, or did you get burned? Are you team cash stuffing or team digital everything? And what questions do you have about interest rates, investing, or spotting financial scams? Drop your stories and questions in the comments. Let's learn from each other. And if this video helped you see the market square more clearly, if you can now spot a false alchemist from a mile away, subscribe to Medieval Tales of Financial Wisdom.